I'm Jacqui McDonagh. I'm the art director of fiction at Puffin Books, which is the children's part of Penguin Books. And I work with a big team of people at Penguin Books on 80 Strand in London. I work with a team of designers, and our job is to come up with the cover looks and the inside design of all the children's fiction at Puffin. And that involves coming up with the ideas for the covers and choosing the right illustrator and choosing fonts and working very closely with other teams, because designing book covers and insides is a very collaborative job, and we work particularly very closely with the editors. So quite often we read the manuscripts or read parts of the manuscripts when a book comes in, and then have long conversations about what's the right approach for a cover and finding the right illustrator. And then we sort of present visuals to a team of people again. So we have to involve the editor, the author at some point as well, sales and marketing teams, and everybody has to agree on the right direction for a book. So that's what I do on a day-to-day basis. It's quite hard to pin down the best thing because it is a great job. At the beginning, it's really good fun to read a new manuscript, a new book coming in, and try and get into that book and understand what the author is trying to do and how we can best sort of convey the ideas within that book to who are trying to hopefully buy it and read it at the end. So that's really exciting, and that's, you know, very creative part of my role. But the other good side of it is when that book finally comes in. So right at the beginning and right at the end are both really exciting things. So you've spent months and months and months working on a project, and then when it finally comes in, the finished thing, it can be quite terrifying, and it can be quite exciting as well to actually see the finished product in your hands. So I think probably the finished piece is probably the best thing. It's quite hard to think of bad things, to be perfectly honest, but I'd say one of the hardest things to get used to when you first start designing is working as part of a big team. Because probably when you've been at college, you think, oh, I've got a great vision for how I would want my artworks to be or my design work. But publishing, as I said, you have to work with everybody, and your job is to, you know, interpret what everybody else thinks the book should look like. So you have to come up with lots and lots of ideas, and then you have to present those ideas to people, and quite often they don't get approved. So you then have to go back to the drawing board and think again, and that's one of the hardest things to get used to, but you do get used to it, and it's just part of the job. I went to college and did a degree in graphic design, and it was a very general degree. It wasn't a specific publishing degree. But as part of my course, we had to do 3 months work placement in industry. And I chose to go to Puffin. I mean, obviously, you had to apply. I didn't just pick a job, but I really wanted to go into publishing, just because I'm a big reader. And when I was there, I had such a great time. I really, really enjoyed it. So I decided that when I graduated, I would aim to get into publishing. And I managed to. One of the things that you don't expect is sort of how big a business it is, and you think you just sit at your desk and quietly draw pictures or choose fonts or find illustrators, but in actual fact, you know, there's a lot to learn about all the other departments and how you work with other teams, and it's quite a big business, so that's what you don't know when you first come into it, I'd say. I don't think there's any one particular achievement I'm proud of. There's lots of things over the years that have been very exciting and pleasing. I've been asked to judge illustration awards and asked to judge design awards and things like that, which are always great fun. I think it's just, you know, pride in your everyday job and working with people who are really good people to work with, and that's sort of how proud I am and what I'm particularly proud of. But I do have one thing that happened to me quite recently, which I'm quite proud of, and that was a fan of Rick Riordan saw this cover for Heroes of Olympus, Blood of Olympus, and said to me he thought it was sick, which I think is a great compliment. I love design, but I also love reading. I always have done, and I'm a great reader of fiction rather than non-fiction, and I just see books as an amazing way to learn about people and the world and escape, you know, just such great fun and a way to get away from everything else.